One of the reasons why the idea of a girlcon captured me so much was because I came from a very long and difficult and tangled web of internalized misogyny. It was only very recently, in the scheme of my life, that I started to unlearn those things. So it's almost like the girlcon was a gift. It was an offering to people who were like me, as a way to help them to live even better, even kinder, even wider, even happier, both with themselves, with other people. Hi, I'm Anna. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Kara, and I was one of the people who worked at organizing GirlCon. So the first thing to do, I think, if you want to put on a con or an event of some kind, is to start brainstorming about what exactly that would be.
It was originally suggested by Sophie in a YouTube video where she talked not only about the idea of a girlcon but also this book called Beauty Queens, and she was like, we could have panels about this or that, and then she was like, let me know your thoughts because there is part of me who thinks that this could happen. And it took a while after that video for me to really do it, get invested and involved, but that was the first step. It was just this possibility.
Find some way to collect all of your ideas and hopes and wishes together into one place so that you can add to them and refer back to them later. And making a list or a document or a collage or a mood board or whatever kind of work that you want to do to just kind of organize your ideas. Our sources of inspiration ranged from the book Beauty Queens by Libba Bray to the music of Beyonce to Rookie Mag and Willow Smith and Amanda Stenberg and a whole bunch of teens who were doing really cool things who would give us kind of a boost of just reminding us what young people are capable of and the kinds of magical things that could happen at our event.
One of the things about GirlCon for me was that I wanted to not keep myself out of my activism. So I think a lot of the time when activist ideas go public, they often then don't allow people to be very personal about their experiences and about their reasoning. And I really wanted GirlCon to be a space that felt like it was created for a younger me, for people like me, people who had similar feelings and thoughts when they were younger, and even, for me in that present moment.
It might also help to put together a list of not the technicalities of the event, but more the kind of feel that you want it to have, or the vibe. For me, this was I want it to be open and inclusive and friendly and accepting, and a bunch of words that are synonyms for those things.
One of the kind of things that I started to realise as I grew older was the importance of community, and that's also where GirlCon stemmed from. I wanted, the reason it was a 2-day event, it was a convention, was because community is so important, and I used to feel very, very isolated, as I think a lot of girls do, and I used to feel very misunderstood, and as a result quite angry, and the fact that I was able to create a space where I felt people could bring those feelings and see them in each other and then talk to each other about them was really important.
I think it can also be helpful to check out other events. If you don't have access to kind of conference-y events wherever you live, you can always go on YouTube and look up panels from different conferences, and some of them are really great. Or just discussions between writers or talks on feminism. They can be pretty interesting. Going to events or thinking about panels and stuff can be a good way of figuring out what you want your event to be and what you don't want it to be. I think also, having a clear idea of what you don't want to do is also really helpful, just to keep you focused and to remind you when you get stuck into a bunch of other stuff, what's the principle to stick with. I'd also say make a playlist and do whatever kind of fun things that you need to do that is just like full of joy and all the reasons that you want to do this, so that later in your progress of working on it, you can go back to that and remember why it's so much fun, because it is possible to get a bit bogged down in the kind of businessy side of it. Yay, go get started! And good luck. You can do this.